I got into Wu-Tang, and then I heard Bob James 1, Nautilus, and I realized Daytona 500 was sampled. I didn't understand sampling, and I thought, these guys are genius. They're unbelievable making these crazy songs. How do these guys in the hood do this? And then I heard Bob James Nautilus, and I was like, holy Moses, it's completely lifted 100%. I gotta find more of these. And so CTI, Kudu, ECM, started digging for these records. Yeah, my name is the Gaslamp Killer. This thing is insane, baby. You know we got it real sexy in here.
Crate diggers.
Crate diggers.
Hello, check 1, check 2.
Yeah, my name is the Gaslamp Killer. You're in my home in Mount Washington. GLK, crate diggers in effect. Let's go. My brother, Jacob, blasting Guns N' Roses out of his bedroom, and my sister blasting Too Short out of her bedroom. And my sister Becky gave me the Too Short cassette tape when I was in 5th grade. I don't know what she was thinking giving a 5th grader a Too Short tape, but I think I was going to a private school, and I told my parents, I want to go to public school with the regular kids. I can't deal with this uniform stuff anymore. So I went to public school, and everyone was listening to rap, and I didn't even know much about it. You know, I was listening to rock. And then I had this Too Short tape, and all of a sudden I had something in common with the kids in public school because they were listening to Dre and Snoop, but they didn't know that much about Bay Area hip hop, and I brought the Too Short cassette. My sister was a concert promoter, small time, and she would get me at 11 years old into the clubs to see punk shows and ska shows. And it got to the point where I would go with her so much that security at this all-ages club in San Diego knew me, and the owner knew me, and it was called Soma, and it's a historic San Diego rock concert venue, one of the only all-ages venues, and they just warmed up to me. I was there every weekend. My father would drop me off out front at 8 p.m. and say, I'll be back at midnight. Regardless if your favorite band is on or not, I'll be back at midnight. I would get dropped off and go straight to the front of the line and high-five security at 11, 12 years old, and they would let me right into the club. I used to idolize these punk bands, and I used to idolize the Specials. And I saw the Specials at Soma, and it blew my mind. And I thought, God, I wish I could be in a band. I wish I could be a front man in a band. But nobody around me played instruments. Nobody was into music. And then I went to a rave with my friends and discovered, oh my God, this one guy is controlling the entire room with these two machines and records. And I didn't even know about records, really. And I just was blown away, and I started getting into DJing through raves. This is some of my Turkish brothers. Les Mogul, aka Mogular. This is actually the original intro of Welcome to Detroit by Dilla. This is where he sampled it. I also have the original on 45, but this LP has a lot of heat on it. 3 of my favorite things from around the world right here. This is heavy Turkish rock beats on here. Donald! Damn it. This fucking dog has like a mental imbalance. I think I have around 11 or 12,000 records. Like most crate diggers, half of my collection is at my mother and father's house, but I pay the mortgage on that bitch, so it's all good. The other half is here, all around the house. Vinyl is a beautiful aesthetic thing, you know, I like to have around the house. It makes every room more creative. There's multiple turntable setups and places to listen to records and speakers all over the place, and So yeah, my collection's pretty split up. So this section is where I keep all my sealed hip hop, classic sealed hip hop records for the Holy Grail library catalog, just so I have my sealed classics over here. And over here, all of this stuff is what I DJ with when I spin out. This is all organized from slow to fast from my DJ sets over the last 11, 12 years. This corner is some of my, random, actually, what is in that corner? A bunch of my favorite covers, and behind those, a bunch of sealed Gaslamp Killer records that I'm saving for the archives. Now up here to the bedroom, 4-letter words, favorite t-shirt collections, some of my gear. Up here, these are my favorite records in general, all different styles. This whole thing is basically like my pride and joy of my collection. This Phonet record is my absolute, it's like one of the craziest, dopest Italian library records there is. The beats on this are just insane, freaking mayhem. All drums, drum breaks, and some of my favorite covers, a lot of drum breaks. This might just be the best, most bizarre album cover that I own. Also Italian. No idea what the hell this record is about at all, or anything about it. I bought it for the cover strictly. My mother was huge into thrift store shopping, and I would go with my mother thrift store shopping for weird outfits and stuff. She raised me going to thrift stores, and I would start going from the knickknacks and the clothing and weird stuff that she was into to the record bin straight away. And she's like, oh, well, do you even have a turntable? I said, I have my Fisher-Price one that you bought me. And my first record that I ever had was Teddy Bear's Picnic on 45. And I used to play it on my Fisher-Price toy turntable. And my mother was like, look, if you're really into records, let's get you a real belt-driven turntable. I said, okay. And we found one in the Goodwill by my house. And my mother bought it for me. And we took it home, and I was so excited. And I only had like their creative records in the garage and the Teddy Bear's Picnic and like random records. And the Taxi theme, Bob James Taxi theme, and I put the needle down and it just skated all the way across the record, and I was, damn it. So I said, Dad, my birthday's coming up, maybe buy me a needle? He's like, of course, no problem. We go to Circuit City and they had ornithophones, and I was like, this is what I need. He's like, are you crazy? $99 for a freaking needle? No way, I wouldn't be caught dead buying you that. Dad, you don't understand. I want to hear the records the way they're supposed to be heard, and I was getting into scratching at the time. And so somehow my dad he's still to this day, my father is like one of my best friends and inspirations. And I broke him, and he bought me that ornithophone. And I had my brother's old stereo hooked up to this belt driven that my mother bought me with an ornithophone needle on it. And I had the first machine that I had bought was a dual cassette player. So I had a mix on cassette by RAW, legendary LA DJ. It was like old school techno, raga jungle. And then I bought a dirt style record and would turn the volume knob, this giant volume knob. I would turn it, I would press play on the cassette over here, and then over here I had one speaker in the hi-fi and the turntable, and I would turn the volume up, 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 and then down when I wanted the sound gone. So I was just turning the volume up. So then I touched a mixer for the first time at my friend's house, who was more into the rave scene and stuff. And all of my friends were playing house and techno and jungle and breakbeat, and I had roots in punk and ska and hip hop from my brother and sister, and I felt like I was really different than them automatically, but I still loved the rave culture and like the good vibes and no egos and everybody. It wasn't like battle mode like hip hop, which I later realized. and grew into. It was much more like plur, straight up. Like everybody was big smiles on their faces, peace, love, unity, and respect. Those are fundamentals that I still live by, no matter how hip hop I have become, or no matter whatever genre or scene or anything. Peace, love, unity, and respect is a term that still represents my life. Klaus Weiss, Time Signals. This is one of my favorite library records of all time. I can't even remember where I got this. This one might have been eBay. Shouts to Cherry Stones for putting me up on this. Just do yourself a favor and Google it, motherfuckers.
Stop. There you go.
No, he's only stopping because he knows I'm here. Donald, you know I love you, but I'm gonna call your dad. Doing an important interview in my backyard right now. Can you please take Donald away? This is exceptional college record, Christening for Listening. This record was made by a guy who pretty much only does ambient mood music, Stephen Halpern. He made this record as an experiment to see how plants would grow when you played the music. And a lot of it is just Rhodes and Wurlitzer, super beautiful. And then the other side is like a 10-minute nightmare rock beat with some of the hardest drums. The break just keeps on going and keeps getting more savage. And then it drops into the sweetest bass line. I'm getting goosebumps again. Sweetest bass line ever with the nastiest drums snapping in the background. So these are my two favorite records. I know that's crazy. They might not be my two favorite albums ever, but they are my two favorite pieces of vinyl that I own. This is Ennio Morricone's most bizarre project ever, right here, The Feedback. And thanks to Egon and Cut Chemist for putting me on this record. Also Michael Russell and Adam Manella. This is my holy grail piece. I'm still trying to make music like this. Experimental Italian beats. Oddly enough, this is also an Italian man. He is Italy's most cherished drummer. He is a badass. Yeah, this is Tullio De Pescopo's modern drum teaching record, and it's all open drums. Tons of patterns, tons of styles, recorded thicker and better than any drums I think I've ever heard in my entire life. This vegan Indian restaurant had an open mic on Sundays, and I started going to this open mic. The owner was an amazing drummer, Vikas Shrivastava, and he was an insane jazz drummer, and he would lead the jam and also run the restaurant. So he was doing so much, and his sister, one was an incredible fine artist, and the other was an insane beat poet. And I used to watch her do her open mic. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about this. Like this family, this Indian family were geniuses. I told them, I live in the neighborhood. I'm not the greatest DJ, but I'm starting to collect. And like I would bring my Walkman with a 1/8 inch and be playing tapes and records and hosting. That's when I learned to start getting on the mic and interacting with people, was at Galoka. Every Sunday we would have the open mic poetry slam or whatever the hell it was called back then. And I would play music in between each poet. And then eventually I started writing my own stuff, and I started doing spoken word poetry. And then I started getting drum lessons from Vikas and playing the drums a little bit. All the while I was out tagging on the street, and I was super into freestyle dancing and break dancing. So I was practicing all the elements of hip hop from a very early age in high school. But I think that open mic really opened my heart and my soul and my mind and my spirit to freestyling and expressing yourself and just being a channel an open channel for this ultimate source of energy, which was coming down into this room every Sunday night and inspiring people. And even the people sitting at the tables, it was all seated and everyone was just sitting at tables. There was a bar and everybody was just vibing so hard and the energy was so palpable. It was crazy crew of weirdos all getting together, and some was obnoxious and terrible and teen angst all over it, and other people were super chill, and it was just a great experience. It really opened me up. Osana, this band has a few things to look out for, but this is the one. Every single moment of this record is gorgeous Italian psychedelic heaven. This is my Flying Lotus test press collection. I know it's... Oh, Donald! I love him. He's a good dog, but... All right, so... Let's try that again.
Take two.
So this is my Flying Lotus test press collection. I don't have the test press of 1983. I feel like he gave it to me, but I don't know where it is. I know that's terrible, but this was in the early days. This is the Los Angeles album by Flying Lotus test press with Steve's handwriting. This is the Until the Quiet Comes Flying Lotus album test press. And this is the Cosmogramma Flying Lotus test press, also with art and writing by Flylo. Flying Lotus is a big inspiration and a mover and shaker of the scene, and very proud of my brother. So these are very special to me. My vinyl collection is my foundation. The need to find that break, the need to get that 12, the need to find out what the sample is from your favorite rap song, the itch that you get buying records and getting into records is so much more powerful than any MP3 collector can ever understand. Dilla! Oh, I wish I could have hung out with that guy.